All right, guys, this is question number 35. We've finally arrived to the end of the August 2026 Algebra 1 exam. We got one question left, and it's a word problem. It's the standard kind of word problem where they give you, you buy two apples, three oranges one day, and then you go back and you write four more apples and two oranges, and then they want to know what's the price of the apple, what's the price of the orange. It's a pretty standard question. And this is how I show my students how to do it. So I'm going to go through it. All right, so it says Miguel is in charge of buying snacks for his office mornings meetings. On Monday, he buys six muffins and four donuts for $20.70. And then on Tuesday, he goes back to the same store. He buys three more muffins, or he buys three muffins and six donuts for $21.51. There isn't a sales tax. I wish they wouldn't even put that. That's just, it's just extra. We don't really need to know that. But anyway, and then it says M is the cost of one muffin and D is the cost of one donut, and they want us to write a system of equations. So what I tell my students is, any place that you see muffin, replace it with an M. So I'm going to come here, going to put an M. I'm going to come here, I'm going to put an M. And then any place that you see donut, replace it with the letter D. So we got this. So those are the two equations. It's going to be 6M plus 4D equals $20.70. The second equation is going to be 3M plus 6D equals 2151. Now, let me clean this. Oops. Let me clean this up a little bit. I want to make that 5 a little better. 551. Now, from here, we go straight to solving because once we know the answers, we can tell you whether McGill is right or not. So, way that I teach my students, I don't care if we lose this 1 point because a lot of times we don't really get to the solving systems, and if we do, we don't get enough practice at it. So what I tell my students to do is go ahead and use the calculator and find out what M and D are. So that's what we're going to do, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to grab my calculator now. I'm going to go to I keep doing that. I'm going to go to the main calculator screen, and then I'm going to go menu 3, and then I'm going to go to solve system, and I'm going to use the linear equations. Now, it's got two variables. Now, I'm going to change them. I'm going to change them to M and D. M, comma, D, right? And then that way I can just type in my equations. So in the first one, I'm going to go 6M plus 4D equals $20.70. All right, and then I tab down to the next box and I enter my second equation, 3 muffins plus 6 donuts equals 21.51. And then I press enter. So it tells me that the price for a muffin is $1.59. So I'm going to write that muffin price is $1.59. And then the donut, one donut is $2.79. All right, now let me go to the iPad to finish this up. Now that I know what the prices are, and they are the prices. Another way that we could do this is we could graph these two equations and find out where they intersect. Sometimes that's what they will ask you to do. Once you come up with the equations, they'll ask you to graph it on a piece of graph paper and find the intersection. But I still prefer that my students do this and find out what the answers are. Now, Miguel thinks that one muffin costs $2.70 and one donut costs $2.70. Is he correct? No way, Jose, or no way, Miguel. All right, no way. Because the prices, we know the prices. The price for a muffin is $1.59, and the price for a donut is $2.79. So he's not right. I said, no, he's not because we already know the prices. That's all you have to do. Once you know what the prices are, if his prices don't match, then he's wrong, right? Because you don't go into a donut shop and then for one customer, they have these prices, and then for another customer, they have some different prices. They have one price for the donuts, they have one price for the muffins. So once we know that these are the correct prices, then his cannot be right. Now, a lot of students sometimes take these numbers and plug them into the equations and then see if you get the actual dollar amounts that you're supposed to get. You can do that too, right? But what I would say is if you're going to check, start with the second one because the second one is always the false one. The problem is not the problem, but the thing is, if if Miguel is not right, at least one of these equations has to be false, right? I don't know which one. Both of them may be false, but I know at least one of them has to be false. But I think this is easier. Once you know the prices, just say that. Just say what the actual prices are, and then that means that Miguel can't be right. Now, let me give you the breakdown. This would be 2 points. This would be 2 points, and this would be 1 point because we didn't do it algebraically, right? But like I said, there are a bunch of teachers, a bunch of videos showing you how to do it algebraically. I'm showing you how to use the calculator to check and to do this. All right. So I'm done. Please, if you have any questions, if anything that I did didn't make sense, or I honestly, if there's something that you really want me to do algebraically, leave me a comment and ask me, Mr. How would you do this algebraically? I got the part about the calculator, but show me how to do it algebraically. I'll do it, and I'll put that out there. But basically, there are a bunch of teachers that are going to show you how to do things algebraically. I want to show you how to use your calculator strategically to check your work and maximize your score. All right, I am done. Hopefully you pass. And if you are using this to prepare, if you do pass and you get a score you want, come back and let me know this helped you. All right, because it's nice to know that the things that I'm putting out there, people are watching and they're of value. So come back and let me know. All right, I am going to stop and post these. And again, let me know if you've got any questions and we'll go from there. Bye-bye.